There's a level you get to in your life, you will never know scarcity. May God bring you into that level. I say, may God bring you into that level. I say, may God bring you into that level. I say, may God bring you into that level. Can I be honest with you? There are people, what to eat is not a problem to them. There are people, what to eat, what to... Are you there with me? When I was growing up, I love food. I've always fought my younger brother with food, on food. When it's rice, we eat rice once in a day. So rice, if I see rice, my body will start shaking. I would do something, my brother would get so I can eat the food. My mother said, now, the man who likes food now, guess what? The man who trained me, if I come to the house, if it's the last meal and nobody have got it, I'm not thinking about myself. My wife get off and I said, I hope everybody is gone around. In some houses, it's the father first. I am taught until everybody, God forbid for me to sit down and eat when my family have not eaten. I would drink garri and sleep and go to bed. And I will gladly do it. That's why when you come to my house, I want you taken care of. If you don't understand, it's the state of my heart. It's not pride. Because I'm also a shepherd. I wanted to make sure that everybody under my care is well fed. Forget about me. Let's finish. Where did we stop? Where did we stop? He's bringing you into a land that you will eat bread. Let's go without scarcity, in which you will... No. Go back to verse 9. Let's go. 1 to 3, let's go. A land in which you will eat bread without scarcity, in which you will lack nothing. A land whose stones are iron, and out of the hills you will dig what? He's taking you to a land that when you dig, you'll find gold, diamond. That's where somebody is going to buy land, and you will find something that will take care of you and your family for the rest of your life. Verse 10 is what he's bringing them. But guess what? When you have eaten and are full, you should bless the Lord your God for the good land which he has given you. What you should do, anytime you eat and you are full, what do you do? Bless the Lord. Not to stop coming to church. Not to start saying, now that you have money, come on to the pastor but come on pastor because you are full. It's just a matter of time. It simply means if you are saying, God, test me, put me, it simply means when God blesses you, we will see your commitment. You know, in our Lagos church, there are 3-4 men who tell pastor anything church needs from 1 million, 5 million, 6 million, 10 million. Don't make the announcement. Please let us know. You hear me? If church needs anything, 1 million, 2 million to 10 million, please don't make the announcement. Please let us know. And some people, you're watching Experience. You're watching Experience. Experience costs over 500 million. Since they started Experience, one day, one young guy wrote a check of 100 million for Experience and gave Pastor Paul. Pastor Paul came to church and said, somebody gave me 100 million. Guess what? One person versed inside church carried his checkbook, wrote a check of 100 million. Experience, we have never taken offering for Experience. People pay for Experience. Then you will watch. This year, Bakao Solomon, how much is your money inside? Pastor Paul for Brink, who is you to advise Pastor Paul? When God gave you the vision, were you there? We have not moved to permanent site. How much did you bring? Did you bring the money for us to buy the land, 200 million, and we didn't buy? When you bring the money, then you can talk to us. If you didn't bring the money, keep quiet. Before an angel slap you and give you stroke. How much did you bring? You're in this place. To run this service costs over 100,000. You know, diesel is 900. I approved diesel around. Diesel, I approved within the week. Diesel is about 100,000. Last Sunday, I approved 58,000 for diesel. Total offering, Pastor Joe, 120. Within the week, I approved 30. We just bought equipment they need to test. So choir rehearsals 30, church service 58, that's 80 something. That one has gone. That's what we're burning now. Then you will now come and sit down in this atmosphere, enjoy, and then be irresponsible. And you want God to bless you. I don't know how I got there. When you are full, Your children are doing well. Your bill is being paid. You bless the Lord. When you bless the Lord, that's when you ask Pastor Ban, this conference is coming. What can we lift off from your shoulder? That's sons. That's what sons do. They don't come and say, I never chop. If Ralph come and meet me and say, I never chop, it's a very serious problem. Peter or Pajok, so there's no food in his house. They can't tell me that. It can't even happen. That's when your worship is powerful. You are full. Paid your tithe, offering, prophet offering. My pastor says something. Anytime he goes to whether it's manpower or program, he likes to see. He's looking at his grandfather. The man is like me, like Pojok, Bishop Jake's pastor. His church is more than 500. He said when he goes, he sits down. My pastor, he looks at the man dressing. He said, so man, I in the job. My papa's tight. And the man look here, the way yellow suit, red suit. If you see the Baba, the way the man like the 13. He says, that's my grandpa is taking care of his spiritual father. Can we say that of you? He said, when you have eaten and full, that's when worship is sweet. You can worship. You will bless. When you have eaten, you are full. Then you bless the Lord your God for the good which God has given to you. 11. Almost there. Beware that you do not forget. There's danger for you. Beware. When you say beware, I mean be very careful. It's possible. That when God now blesses you, it's possible to forget. You forget that the Lord your God, you forget your God by not keeping his judgment, his statutes, his commandment today. 12. You get to a point you lose completely. You lose focus. 12, please. 12. Edward. Verse 12. Verse 12. And he says to them, "Least when you have eaten and full and have built beautiful houses. Now you are dwelling, your family is living well. You build fine houses everywhere. You're driving a nice car, you're doing well. And when you have herds and the flocks multiply, your silver, your gold multiply, and all that you have is multiplying. God is blessing you. You've entered into the covenant realm. Still beware. Verse 15. When your heart is lifted up and you forget that it's the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt. 3-4 generations, your fathers were broke, raped, abused, total darkness, didn't have a house, they live in tent. And God has changed your life and brought you into a land, brought them out of the house of bondage. Next verse. He warned them seriously. When led you through the great and terrible wilderness, in which what? Fairies, serpents, scorpion, thirsty land, where there was no water, but brought water from the rock. God supernaturally provide for you. And then he brought you into this land. He said, guess what? This land that he gave you, there were people who were there before. The people worship idol. He will remove them. It's possible also that when God blesses you, when you turn your back on him, he can strip you of everything. That's what I'm saying. Let me close here. Watch this. The temptation to man has never changed. The same temptation to Adam, the same to Jesus. So I break. One of my mentors taught me this. I don't know if you have the slide. The first temptation is what? Have you discovered that it's food? The first temptation is what? Food, bread. Is appetite. Sometimes you tell yourself, say you don't go eat. You know how I started fasting in secondary school? My fasting started, I fasted breakfast. I will not eat anything until 12. I will not eat anything until 12. I will eat anything until 12. Guess what? When you get to that, the body adjusts. Then I moved it. Some of you cannot fast. If you wake up and say, I never eat, my body they shake. Man shall not live by bread alone. What happened? The levels of temptation. The first temptation, write this down. It is called the temptation of men. It happens to everybody, Pastor Joe. It's appetite. Everybody goes through this. It is appetite driven. This is called the loss of the flesh. It's the same thing to the Israelite, the same thing to Adam and Eve, the same thing to Jesus. He didn't say, if you are the Son of God, turn these stones to become bread, food. If you pass this test, that food is not a problem to you, that you can stand your integrity and not sell your birthright because of food, you're going to the next level. Jesus passed this test. The first temptation is, this is the first temptation. It's the temptation to men. All men go through this. The second temptation is the temptation of the priest. This has to do with power. This is the pride of life. He took him to the pinnacle of the temple. He said, jump. And the devil too quoted the scriptures. Go and find out from where he quoted. Take what he quoted and take it to Psalm 91 where he was quoting. He left one line. He left one sentence out of it. The devil also quotes scripture but doesn't quote it correct. And he quotes it out of context. The second temptation is the temptation of priest. It's about power. He said he will give angel charge of you. Throw yourself off. A car is coming. He said, throw yourself on the main road. Nothing will happen. He said, you should not tempt the Lord your God. The third temptation is the temptation of kings. This is the lust of the eyes. This is the appetite for the kingdom and power and glory. Fall down and worship me and I will give you everything. It's here you have, guess what? Here you have, this is where you have glamour, girls, and glory. Here you sacrifice for girls, for glamour, and for glory. Or F, you want to go with F. Here, people sell, this is where people fail. There are people who will sell their soul. For what? For money, for finances, for fame, and for females. If you know what people will do and sell their soul, all they're looking for is the lusts of the flesh, the pride of life, and now what? The last one is what? The last one is what? The temptation of king. But what is it after? The lust of the eyes. Here you're looking for glory. You're looking for glamour. I want to drive that car. The latest car is BMW 6 Series. And you don't care how you get it. One new rapper has come now. It's about 150 or 500,000. Shin isn't Dora. And you don't care. People don't ever compare yourself.